All right, folks, I'm going to bring us back to order. So this evening for our folks at home, we are going to have audio but no video. We're having some technical difficulties. So everybody remember to speak clearly into your microphones and turn them on before you speak so that our folks at home can hear what's going on. Everybody will bow your head for an invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, please bless our endeavors this evening. Please watch over us, watch over our families, watch over all the children that are preparing to go back to school. Please bless and watch over all those children that started school this week. Help us all as our county moves forward with lots of new activities and hopes and dreams. And it's in your name that we pray. Amen. Hi all. Would you help me? Would everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Please place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
All right, we're going to move on to approval of the agenda. I'm going to make one change. Item number 9 is we're going to drop that for a later date, possibly next month. So delete number 9. Everything else will just move up one in line. Is there any other discussion about the agenda? Okay. I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Move to approve as amended, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Savage, for the second. All in favor? Aye. It is unanimous. All right, now to the favorite part of every meeting, our special recognitions. And we're going to start with everybody coming around front.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight. First, I would like to recognize Monroe Police Officer Monique Holt. She's a very special individual. She's very special to Monroe Middle School as she is their school resource officer. And she was also chosen as the Union County Public Schools 2014 School Resource Officer of the Year. Officer Holt has been a school resource officer since 2012 and has made a tremendous impact on the students at Monroe Middle School. She started a Red Cross Youth Club last year, which partners with the Union County chapter of the American Red Cross. Students are given the opportunity to volunteer in times of disaster or crisis. She also helped sponsor the Lady Red Hawk Academy. It teaches young girls organizational skills, proper work ethic, positive self-image, and social skills along with etiquette. Those are just 2 examples of her impact at the school. Officer Holt does bullying presentation, teaches DARE and GREAT programs, the GREAT program, that's the name of the program, and counsels students and their parents on an ongoing basis as needed. She also teaches Eddie Eagle gun safety to our 3rd graders. Officer Holt started her career at the Monroe Police Department in 2003. Being a police officer was her lifelong dream. She told her 6th grade teacher, I want to be a police officer when I grow up so I can save the world. We want to thank you, Officer Holt, for what you do every day that makes such a huge difference in the lives of our children. We do think you're saving the world one student at a time. Here tonight to support Officer Holt is Safety and Security Director Jared McCraw, her supervisor at the Monroe Police Department, Sergeant Dennis Nash. We're very honored to have Police Chief Brian Gilliard, and also Monroe Middle School Principal Dr. Mike Harvey, and I believe he brought two special guests with him. Didn't you, Dr. Harvey? Let's give Officer Holt a round of applause.
She got a big job.
Oh, dear. We're also excited tonight to recognize some outstanding individuals. First, I want to recognize some Union County Public School students who were chosen to attend the 2014 Governor's School. That's the summer program for the academically or intellectually gifted that's held in Winston-Salem and Raleigh, North Carolina. These students are some of the most distinguished North Carolina rising high school juniors and seniors. There were a total of 17 from the Union County Public Schools. Tonight we will recognize 6 of these students. The others will be recognized at the September board meeting. Governor's School is a 5-week summer residential program that integrates academic disciplines, the arts, and unique courses on each of its 2 campuses, Governor's School East, held in Raleigh, and Governor's School West, held in Winston-Salem. When I call your name, please come forward and allow the school board members to congratulate you. The following students accepted an invitation to attend Governor's School East in Raleigh. In English, Natalie Huffman from Marvin Ridge High School. Instrumental music, Melissa Hagstead, Marvin Ridge High School. Walker Cherry, Weddington High School. The following students accepted to attend Governor's School West in Winston-Salem. In art, Jacqueline New at Porter Ridge High School. Instrumental music, Walter L. Bonar, Marvin Ridge High School. And in Spanish, Kayla Thompson, Marvin Ridge High School. We also want to acknowledge the principals who came out to support these students tonight. Porter Ridge Principal Dr. Bashawn Harris, Weddington High School Principal Mr. Jonathan Bowers, and Marvin Ridge High School Principal Ms. Donna Cook. Especially if you're a parent of one of these outstanding young people, would you please stand? We recognize the support that you give your students, which is a huge part of their achievement. You're all to be commended. Board members, when the photo opportunities have ceased, that will conclude our special recognitions for tonight.
Thank you all for coming. That is absolutely for the board the best part of the evening right there. Every time we get to do that, congratulate the kids. That's why we're all here. All right, so we're going to move to public comments. No public comments this evening. So we're going to move on to item number 7, the consent agenda. Need a motion to approve our consent agenda. Thank you, Mr. Collins. Second? Thank you, Mr. Guzman. All in favor? Aye. We are unanimously approved. Moving on to number 8, we're going to go to Union County Public Schools Strategic Plan Update. Strategic Priority 2, Quality Teachers, Administrators, and Staff Providing Innovative Leadership for the 21st Century. That's going to be Dr. Clark.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here to present to you strategic priority number 2. This is the, I have sent you a copy of this to your email, and but you also have it on the board here. If we could, we're going to go down to the next slide. And there are two main objectives we're looking at. The first objective is not inconsistent with the goal of hiring, retaining, and quality teachers, administrators, and staff. UCPS will attempt to mirror the diversity of the student's population in the hiring of such staff. And this has not changed since our previous strategic priority strategic plan. We do have different numbers in the baseline. This is the most current information that we have, which goes back to last year's SS200 report, which is done in October, and the first month of Power School. So there should be updated information for you next year. But looking at trying to do that, we'll move to the next slide. Some of the things that we'll be doing is developing our implementing a recruiting plan. We have not had teacher recruitment to the full extent in the last 5 years because of the economy. We've done more and more, as we did more last year than we did the previous years. But prior to last year, we were basically doing recruiting in the state only. Last year, and that would be the next one. We'll get that. Just think that this year we did go out of the state for a few, and I'll show you those in just a minute. But since we haven't had the kind of recruitment plan that we had several years ago, it's time to update it. We've got Tahara here and her staff, and we're going to work together with them, put together an outstanding recruitment packet, also the trifold display, and other things that are needed to market our school district. Showing you the next slide, just shows you some of the schools that we have visited, that we went to last year. These are the schools in North Carolina. Going on the next slide, these are also the schools in North Carolina, and then we had 3 that we went outside of North Carolina: Portland, New York, Pennsylvania, and obviously Rock Hill, which is not that far away. So we feel at this point in time, we probably are going to need to extend this because of the fact we're just trying to, it also gets into the teacher turnover, which is the next one, that this is a teacher's market. Teachers are able to look for the school district they want to, so we want to show our true qualities here, our good qualities in Union County Public Schools in North Carolina, in Union County, in North Carolina, to bring the best teachers to our school district. Objective number 2 is the annual teacher turnover will decrease to 9%, and the annual administrator will decrease to less than 10%. There is no administrator turnover report at the state, but there is a teacher turnover. That information actually is being finalized as we this last week, being sent in. 14.31 was our number from last March. It's a March to March number, and we are anticipating that it's probably going to go up a little bit this year, and that's not even indicative of what we're dealing with this summer, because it's March to March. It's not even looking at, when we get the next teacher turnover report, it will not look at what we're getting, what's happening in this summer. It's trailing data, so we won't get that for the following year, and so we are believing that's going to get even worse. So that's what we're trying to work with right now. Some of this stuff is out of our control. It's at the state level, and but that is something that right now teachers are leaving teaching, and we feel like that needs to be looked at the state level, also looked at the district level too, and we want to continue to work on that. We're going to do that through, we have a couple things with the next slide. We have an ongoing beginning teacher support program. Every school has their own plan. There's a clearinghouse that stays online for each school to look at. We also have a mentor, we call the mentor standards, which is aligned with the professional teaching standards North Carolina Effective Educator Effectiveness System. And these site-based plans involve input from school teachers, beginning teachers, mentors, and administrators. And that's something that we have in place right now. What we want to look at also is what can we do in working with Our communications department, what are some things that are out there, community partnerships, the things that we could get for our teachers, things that we can do for our teachers to help our teachers to stay in the school district and continue to teach. And then the next thing we have, the next slide, this is the embed the PLC practices. This is part of the advanced data accreditation. What research shows in the teacher working conditions is that if schools have strong leaders and teachers are involved with making decisions, they're more likely to stay in teaching. That has been seen year in and year out with the teacher, or every other year when the teacher working conditions is completed. So PLC processes is our part, working with also the site-based teams to have school leadership teams involving teachers and administrators. We at the school system provide the schools with the framework, how to work the PLC process. We provide the tools and the resources, and we also always try to keep focused around those 4 questions. What do students need to know and be able to do? How will we know when we do it, and they know it? How will we, what will we do if they don't know it? What will we do if they've already learned it? Those are 4 things that we have to look at over and over and over. Yeah. That, at this point in time, concludes my presentation on priority number 2. Are there any questions?
I do have a question. Is research showing, or are you tracking over the past several years, are we losing teachers to other professions, or are we losing teachers to other counties and states?
Yes and yes.
Is there any
Is the trend-
breakdown, or
I can work on providing that to you. It's based upon the information that we get is based upon what the teachers fill out for their exit from their resignation.
what they're doing next?
Right, and you get a copy of that every month. There's the different codes, and they break that down into basically several categories. One is what does the district, what can they control? And a resignation for retirement is something that they look at as something that's within your control. What is possibly out of your control and what is out of your control, and so they break that down, and I can put that together for you to look at the trends over the past few years. That's not a problem to do. But I mean, the numbers tend to fluctuate a little bit, but they are what I'm kind of seeing and what I'm hearing, and it's not based on specific data that's in front of me here, but I hear a lot more of folks are leaving teaching. But they're also leaving teaching right now too to go across the state. I lost a teacher at an elementary school who went across the state in South Carolina and made $10,000 more
Right.
doing the exact same thing that they're doing.
And that's why I was asking the question.
Yeah.
Because
Well-
I know that it was in the paper that Texas came and
Houston.
recruited in Charlotte. And so I think it's just, it is something that we always need to be aware of and be really making sure we're in communication with our legislators about that. And I know that that's happened in the past, but we need to continue because it doesn't seem like it's getting better.
I met with Mr. Craig Horn, Representative Craig Horn, this afternoon for about an hour and a half, and I'm very concerned. 41 schools of our 53 this summer have tried to hire out-of-state teachers from New York, just different places, and they've been turned down in the main because our legislature determined, and what Mr. Horn told me today is that if you come in from another state with a master's degree, North Carolina won't pay you on it. And that is not consistent with the law, with what the statute says. So we have reached out to Raleigh, and I will tell you it depends on who you're speaking with, either DPI or the legislature. They've got to get some things worked out about what the facts are. But we've had 41 schools that want to hire folks with master's degrees, and we're not sure if the state will pay them if they're coming in from out of state. And that kind of indecisiveness is not, we can't make up our mind. It's that you call Raleigh and you get 3 different answers.
Dr. Clark, do you have any idea how many teachers we lost over the summer that were staying in teaching but were leaving Union County for more money? Estimate?
I don't know about leaving county for more money. I mean, you've got 300 new employees on your percentage in the package just for tonight. You probably have it. Maybe Dr. Roy, about almost 500, 400 or 500 folks this year that we're aware of.
That left.
That there are new people that we
Right, it's new
transitioned, but they're folks that have, most of those are not new positions.
Right.
Somebody was in that position.
And this is a trend because as the economy increases, teachers go to more lucrative paying jobs. In times of economic downturn, a teaching job is a good steady job to have, but with all of the announcements in Charlotte and different places of new businesses coming in, especially younger teachers that don't have an investment or they're not vested in the system, they will choose to go and make more money.
Well, and I think there are a lot of teachers who have invested greatly in the system that just simply don't have enough choice.
I would not
Because
disagree
they
with
have to
that at all.
provide for their families.
I would not disagree with that.
Dr. Clark, in addition, well, obviously the money is the intention key. Is that correct? What second and third place? Is there anything else that brings a person to a particular school district to teach, whether it's in North Carolina or some other state? And are we doing those things? Or?
Well, I think we got the #1 system in the state of North Carolina as far as quality of teaching. And that's what brought people to here in the first place several years ago when we were really, folks wanted to be in our buildings. And I still think that it's there. I think it's getting harder for some folks, just all the amount of stuff that gets kind of added on, built on to put on their plates to do. But as far as why folks come here, it's truly the quality of our schools. It's the family-like atmosphere that they have. That's why they come here. But they haven't had a raise in a long time. They're going to have that this year. It looks like the district or the state, whatever that is. And I think I saw from time people leave the district, other districts to come here, not for the amount of money they were making in Charlotte-Mecklenburg, but for the quality of what we had. Now, they have to provide for their families, and some of that is needing to do that.
So over the last 5 to 7 years, the things that team teachers, not things being in money and quality of the school, have those things really changed over time? Pretty much what they were in 5 or 7 years ago?
I think it's harder for teachers. It's harder for administrators right now than it ever has been.
The devaluation in society of the teaching profession. I hear a lot of teachers when they speak with me privately about why they're leaving. Talked with one of our very best English teachers. She left because her husband is a teacher, and they could not make it on a two-teacher with 2 children and one in high school getting ready to go to college, and that teachers did not get a pay raise, 1.2% in 5 years, and this year it depends on who you listen to. Speaker Tillis and Mr. Berger say it's a 7% pay raise. The governor say it's 5.5, but then they're taking longevity away and folding it in. And I'm not saying it's smoke and mirrors. I'm just saying teachers need one clear, consistent message, and they've not gotten that. For example, state employees this year, our teacher assistants got $500. Other state employees got $1,000 plus 5 bonus days. Just determine there where the value statement is. And I taught school for 18 years, and I really question whether the state of North Carolina shows that we value teachers. And in a very poor economy, we tend to keep teachers. But as the economy gets better, there are more options, and that is what we're seeing now. The 5-year trend, teachers have held tight. Now that jobs are opening up, they can afford to say, I need to feel valued monetarily and or otherwise.
Dr. Clark, teacher empowerment is huge with me. I still have memories of those teachers, Ms. Smith in the 3rd grade, Ms. Gaskill in the 10th grade, and of course, Ms. Huggins, where that English. You mentioned that a teacher left because they felt that they were not empowered. I've been around our system for quite a while now, and I've been up at Monroe High School, as you all know, for many years. One of the things that to all the principals was about, what's the view of that teacher empowerment. So speaking countywide, I can't speak countywide, but did that teacher really feel that they were not empowered, or was that just one of the many reasons they gave? And, you know, as a system,
And that is a teacher working conditions survey across the state of North Carolina. It wasn't for, say, Union County. That the research shows that teachers will stay in teaching if they feel empowered. The site-based legislation several years back, that empowers teachers. The North Carolina evaluation instrument for teachers now has leadership as the #1 item. So that should work to empower more and more teachers to be involved. And the reason why that's #1 is because it helps make those folks feel that they are engaged in the school system and that they'll stay by in the school district. So I don't know of an individual teacher that has left our district that said because they're not empowered. But that is the research that came from the state to us, the teacher work condition survey, which they've done it 3-4 times. They've had that every 2 years.
but our culture here in Union County Public Schools
About
is about empowerment.
Sir.
That's more.
Okay, if we have any other discussion. Dr. Clark, thank you. We move on to item number 10, or item number 9, as the case may be. Union County Virtual School Evening Education. So Dr. Webb, Dr. Jones, and Dr. Luke. Dr. Luke is coming forward, so I'm thinking it's her.
Exactly right. You will see a presentation that I'd like you to pay attention to, and we are going to start, John, by showing a little bit of nostalgia. Do you remember Novanet? And if not, do you remember the Apple IIe? Now, my bet is Mr. Collins feels right at home because I believe I remember a room full of Apple IIes. And Mr. Collins, did we not feel like we had the room from heaven to put our, oh, yes, we loved it. And I remember simpler times, but we thought we were somewhere. And I remember them giving my first Apple IIe to me as a teacher, and I thought we had hit it. We were able to do something. Now, in the center, you say, welcome to the future. Look at the iPad, the iPod, the iPhone, the Chromebook. You know what? It's not the future anymore. That is the present. That is reality. That is where we are. Someone asked me the other day, what are we doing with virtual school? And I got to counting on my fingers, and I thought, oh my word, we really have branched out. And that's why I wanted you to have this from an old-time perspective, and we're going into where we are now. But we are e-learning in 5 different categories: OdysseyWare, Apex, UC Virtual, NC Virtual, and Career and College Promise Online. We have way more than we ever thought we would. OdysseyWare is a software program, if you're not aware of what it is. We use it for credit recovery. It is available at all 12 high schools. If I have failed a course for either academic area or for attendance area, I'm able to recover that course through OdysseyWare. It works in that you take an alternate test for Chapter 1. If you make 70 or above, it shoots you to Chapter 2. You take another test. If at any place through the course you don't make 70 or above on that alternate test, now you go through everything in the unit so that you can get the skills back that you needed that you were missing in the first place. We try not to do new courses on OdysseyWare at all, just because we want the vigor of everything that we can get for the kids. And OdysseyWare, although it is excellent for credit recovery, may not be the best thing for new courses. Students who do credit recovery through OdysseyWare take a pass-fail. That's one of the policies, and there is no grade that is figured into the GPA. The F stands, it's not replaced. It was just a credit recovery course. This year, we're trying something new with our South Providence, our alternative school students. We're doing Apex. The reason for Apex, in the past, we've had issues with students who go into South Providence maybe halfway through the semester, or they need to leave South Providence and go back to home school halfway through the semester. and they can't make the transition because the courseware is not there. The biggest problem, of course, is leaving the regular school. I really messed up as a discipline issue. I'm now in Tier 3. What am I going to do? Because I had AP level courses. South Providence may not have that AP level teacher. The Apex does have AP level courses. It has honors level courses. It has CP level courses. We feel like we'll be able to take you where you are at the regular school and continue your education just in the way that it's been going without hindering you at all. So it will not be, you can only get the 2 courses that you would have gotten through South Providence or through the Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 program. We're still going to try to get you the 4 courses that you would have gotten had you been able to stay in the regular day. Or if you're in South Providence and going back to the regular school and you were started in AP, anything, honors, anything, CP, anything on Apex, we can continue that for you right back in the regular school setting without dropping anything. Everybody will be on go both directions. Just so you would be aware, I've included some Apex catalog items so you could see that from math standpoint, we go from foundations of math to AP calculus, from earth to AP chemistry, from English 1 to AP English, from world to AP macro, micro. On the next page, you'll see that there are world languages. There's a CTE section. There's even art, music appreciation. So there's really nothing lacking that we believe we could have those children in going both directions. About a year to 18 months ago, you put a task in Dr. Ellis's heart, and she put it on our back and told us to start a virtual school. And we did. We started with sociology, psychology. It took us a big part of a semester to build that course because we learned. We started the Moodle shell. We had to do all the lessons. We had to do all the videos. Everything had to come together. By the fall of 2013, just last fall, we were able to offer sociology, psychology, ACT prep, global awareness, and success 2.0. And out beside each of those, you see the number of students who took each of those courses last fall. And if I added correctly, that's 171 that we were able to complete. Now, if you look at the fall and then you jump to the spring, if you told me 18 months ago it was going to jump this astronomically, I would have laughed. But now we've added leadership exploration, English 4, Spanish 1, Math 3, and POB. And our 171 students jumped to 256 that semester. And then we turned around in the summer and we offered them again. And this time we were able to help 80 students get courses, most of which is get ahead, not credit recovery. Remember, we do Odyssey-ware for credit recovery. This is, I want to do more. I want to catch up. I want to be an early grad. I want to take some college courses. Hop back 1 minute, John, please. If you see at the bottom, we now have an e-learning administrator. We have an e-learning coordinator. We're about to hire another e-learning coordinator. We have 4 ADN slots from Dr. Clark, which he uses full-time teaching positions, and we have 4 more that we separate so that we can purchase planning periods for teachers to teach our online courses. So we have become a building without brick and mortar. Okay, John. Now, by the spring of 2015, we will have, I'm sorry, you jumped 1 more, go back. By this fall, when school starts back, we will have everything from last spring, and then we are adding in English 3, Math 2, Earth Science, Advanced Inquiry, American History 1, Career Management, Business Law, and Advanced Environmental Topics. That is our precursor to our AP course that will come in the spring. Our Advanced Inquiry, just so you know what it is, we had credit by demonstrated mastery students last spring who took English 2 and jumped. So if you remember, they had English 1 in the 8th grade as AIG kids. They took CDM for English 2. They're going into the 9th grade and are ready for English 3. So we are offering for them with a little bit of encouragement, not a requirement. Please take advanced inquiry first. It helps you with your writing skills. It helps you with your research skills. You can do it at the same time you want to do your AP3, or you can do this and then do AP3 in another year, because remember, these kids are now getting way ahead. By next spring, as John's going to tell you, we're going to add that AP Environmental, the AP World, Arts Appreciation, Biomed Tech, Civics and Honors, Civics and Economics, and English 1. That is a grand total of 22 courses, honors and CP level in addition. You had a question?
A statement. The impetus for Union County Virtual is that North Carolina Virtual was charging us an arm and a leg, and we were losing teaching slots. And we determined that we could pay our teachers, our very best teachers, money, and it would keep money in Union County, and we could control the quality of the education. And if the truth is told, that was the very reason we got to thinking we needed to get into the virtual business, because a lot of our children were taking classes online. My own daughter did. It was an English 4 class, honors, and it was not worthy of honors English 4. And we had no control over it in this county because it was a teacher employed by North Carolina Virtual. So we're able to do some quality control with that. And that is the reason we decided to get into the business. And Dr. Little's right. We never had any idea it would go gangbusters like it's going. But that's good, because that keeps the money local, keeps our teachers.
The money is local. The control is local. Like she's saying, these are our teachers. So the student emails the teacher. They probably know which school the teacher is even located in. There's an immediate response. The teachers are required within 24 hours to talk back to the kids, and that happens a lot sooner than 24 hours in almost all cases. But there's a lot more control since it is ours. Then there are other virtual options. We still have North Carolina Virtual Public School. That's going to catch everything else. If you have graduation requirements, if you have a desire to take AP Astronomy, there are lots of things out there that we are not able to offer yet and that we don't have in another setting. And then it also gives us time for Career and College Promise. And you remember, those are college courses taken online or face-to-face, which give those students credit for college, transferable to four-year schools, or transferable into community college where they want to go.
How much do those cost the kids?
They're free for the student. That's one of the perks of North Carolina's Career and College Promise, that they put the NTE money in, or what is it, FTE money. They put the FTE money into the community college to pay for the student. We pay for the textbooks out of our textbook funds.
FTE is a full-time equivalent. The community college gets the position to teach, and we provide the books.
I wanted to tell you, too, that our evening program is all online. So any of these 5 ways that you can get virtual courses are available during our evening program. We do have teachers, just like we brought to you before, an English teacher, a math teacher for every single day. There's an administrator there every single day. Last year we graduated 5 students, and we still have 3 who are ready to come back in the fall and start, and we'll take more applications and open that program back up to anybody who's willing to come to the night program. Who are you helping? With this virtual initiative that you put on us about a year ago, who are you helping? The student who wants to catch up, the student who's homebound for medical reasons, the evening school student who didn't fit into the regular day, the student who wants to graduate, wants to accumulate 2 years of college credit while still in high school because it's free, and any UCPS student meeting the NC law requirement now that they have to have an online course before they can graduate from high school. We offer those. And I just thought you might like to see that picture, because there are those starfish that Mary Alice talks about all the time, and if you throw them back one at a time, you've got it made. Questions?
Go ahead. Yes, Ann.
The classes that UCPS has developed, are we farming those out to any other school systems? And if we are, are we charging?
They're not at this time.
Is that a plan in the future?
Dr. Ellis?
We can't charge them if we take anything from North Carolina virtual. And for some of the classes, we've taken a frame or a set or a subset of something, only if it's ours 100%. And we want to model excellence, and these classes have been scrubbed and re-scrubbed and scrubbed again. And we're still in our infancy. We're not even at 18, we're about 18 months. And the possibility will exist, but we want to make sure that everything is letter perfect within the realm of human capability to do that. It's not outside of the realm. A couple counties, well, multiple counties have been to see us, to see how we're doing it, because I think we're probably more successful than some, but we were also smart enough to look at what children were taking on North Carolina virtual, and we found out they were taking psychology, a psych-social class.
They were taking psychology because NC Virtual did not offer it as sociology, psychology, which is why they had to give us the rights to do it to begin with. Ours was different because it was a different course.
We certainly can see about that in the future, but first I want to serve ours appropriately and then worry about somebody else's.
Where are they housed at? Are they housed at individual schools? For example, in my mind, I'm trying to picture is a teacher at, Parkwood teaching a course that's being filmed out, or is the instructions, do they have a place, for example, like here at the PDC where they're doing, how does it get out and where is it getting out from?
The course itself is put out through a system. It's housed in a Moodle shell so that when the student logs in, they're able to go into the course, and the work is released a week at a time. Our teachers are responsible for releasing, for setting deadlines, for grading, for talking back and forth with the child. We work through what's called a big blue button, so that there are times when the teacher is logged in. If the student logs in at the same time, you'll actually see a picture down in the bottom right-hand corner of the computer screen. With the 4 positions that we have that are full-time, those teachers rotate between buildings. So today, my science teacher might be at Marvin Ridge, Cuthbertson, and Weddington. Tomorrow, she might be at Monroe, Forest Hills. They go, depending on how many students from that school participate in online courses, they may be there all day long because there were so many each block who needed assistance or needed questions answered or whatever.
Speak blended, please.
I'm sorry. What?
Speak blended. Part of the blended.
Oh, okay. Because the course is not boxed and sold on its own, blended learning means that you have the teacher who is HQ, who is highly qualified, who is responsible for teaching the course. And let me jump in and give you another detail. We do a North Carolina final exam in earth science because we have to. The state says we will. North Carolina does not make NC Virtual test earth science final exam because North Carolina Virtual does, but they could outsource that course to somebody in Colorado to teach. Our teachers teach our courses, so if I have a course on UC Virtual that is tested at the NC level, I have to test that course. So blended learning means that HQ teacher is actually going to take credit for those scores for those online students as her standard 6 because she's doing it through Union County. That's what blended learning means for that. But to answer your question better, we don't actually have them housed in one place. Yes, they do have a desk at CATA. They can go in there and do some grades if they need to, but they're on the move. They're on the road. And there are teachers that if they sold out their planning period, the expectation is that you did it at night, not during the school day. So they're doing it from their living rooms at home after hours.
So if I'm hearing correctly, and I know I am, you could a student could log on at that time convenient to them.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So it's recorded, it's taped, and put out. You may at the time of teaching be live, but you may not necessarily be live.
That's right. Your assignment for today may be watch these 3 videos, answer these 15 questions. The essay is due by Friday night at 11:55.
Understand?
Dr. Little, one word, wow. I think this is incredible. The undertaking, I think, I work in like virtual training a little bit, and I know what it takes to put together a course and videos and content. To put something together, the iteration after iteration is going to get better and better. And I know it's no small task to have put together as much as you have. The team, I should say.
The team,
The
yes, sir.
team is very impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate being part of the team, and you're exactly right. If I had been left to do this by myself, we'd still be saying, you want to do sociology?
Tell me, when we develop courses in the private sector, there's the term evergreen. You use the same type of terminology for some type of content that doesn't change. You can teach something and you put it together, and you don't have, it's not changing as quickly as technology, for instance. It could be history or math. Are there a lot of courses that are being put together that are, once they get to a point, you don't have to go back and touch them as often and other things, so they're kind of evergreen in that respect?
At this point in time, I would pieces of courses. We have decided that coming next spring, we want to take about a 5-month stop in development and go back and tweak everything we have, bring it up to speed, change out some videos, make sure that everything is brought up to where it still needs to be. And that is a job that Mr. Moore and Ms. Duffy really have under control, and they're doing it all the time because the videos do need constant changing, whereas the curriculum itself may not be changing at all.
So you can feedback then from students or teachers on if a video isn't doing the job as effectively as it should, so you can tweak that. Is that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They'll immediately let Stacy know that something's not doing what it should be doing, or it's not working well, or we need to change something now. Yes, sir.
Great work, everyone.
Thank you.
You need to know that this is not the only reason, but this is a large part of the reason in our increase in graduation rate. We believe in learning anywhere, anytime, and we're going to go more and more towards that. And for the child who needs to work during the day, who needs to take care of a parent or a child, it is tailor-made for them to continue their education. And we have a lot of just regular children taking it also, but life happens, and when life happens, we want to make sure we can deliver what we need to those children. And it's worth noting that as late as, I believe, about 2008, when a child was suspended, they just didn't get any credit. And now when a child is suspended, even if they bring a gun to school, and please know that they are capable of doing online work, because one mistake should not tarnish the rest of my life. I'm not talking about the gun on campus. Let me back up there. But if I get in one fight or 2 fights, why should that cause me to be a dropout or to graduate a year less? And so if every child is a starfish, and if my size does fit me, we are obligated. And Dr. Little talked about 5 children graduating. Well, about 22 children make a percentage point. And while percentage points are great, they're also children. And that's sort of where, and I'll say to you, I met with 5 people 18 months ago, and I said, what if we did this? What would it look like? Didn't hire anybody full-time, paid a stipend for them to work in addition to their regular job. And that is how this was born. That is how this was born. It was not, in other districts have a team that they hired from the get-go to do it. Ours were developed by classroom teachers and 5 people that assumed extra duties for 2 years. And this is their last year of that. And my hat's off to Mike Webb and Wanda Little and the team that did all these things with virtual. It is absolutely awesome.
All right, thank you, Dr. Little. I'm going to move us on to item 11, splash attendance presentation by Dr. Ellis.
We have several schools that are either starting or have the splash program, and the schools are Shiloh, all these are elementary, Shiloh, Weddington, Kensington, Marvin, Western Union, Sun Valley, Poplar, Antioch, and Unionville. And we try to fill the slots from the school first, and they start in kindergarten. And when we tried that, we had a couple of, the more sites you open, the more vacancies you're going to have in some cases. And we had some folks who were not in a school or a cluster that provided Splash that wanted their children to go to Splash. So what we did was we opened it to the school first. And then if the school did not fill it, we went to the cluster. And if the cluster did not fill it, we're going to make it available to the entire county. And that's what I wanted to explain to you the process tonight, to get for information. And then also to say to you that we're full at Western Union, Sun Valley, Poplar, Antioch, and Unionville. We have 2 slots available at Shiloh, Weddington, Kensington, and 1 slot at Marvin. Now you need to note that Marvin is Mandarin Chinese, as is Kensington. Those are our 2 Mandarin Chinese. So tomorrow, Tahira is going to put it out on the website that we're going to be opening up 2, 4, 6, 7 slots. Now I believe there are 2, Dr. Jeffries, where are you? I believe there are a couple of parents that are interested in that are in the queue for transfers. We'll be able to contact them tomorrow because we're opening it up countywide. We'll go ahead and be able to meet their needs if they're agreeable, and then we'll open it up for the 5 slots. Now we consider a class full at 24 for that. So board members, if you have any questions, we are seen as a leader in the state with regard to immersion programs in foreign language. That, too, was born out of the economic downturn when our elementary students were getting 15 minutes twice a week of foreign language. And, folks, that's nothing. That is nothing they're going to remember. So we decided if we brought it back, let's make it meaningful. And we're able to work with our visiting international faculty, VIF, and a couple other groups that it's paying for itself and a partnership we have. So we are very fortunate and very blessed to have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 this year. The only 2 clusters we don't have them in are the Monroe and Forest Hills cluster, and we're wanting to open up schools in those clusters next year, probably a different model, a 50-50 model, because we have so many children in those 2 clusters who are already bilingual or Spanish is the primary language. So any questions from board members?
Well, I just wanted to clarify the process that the class, let's just say the Chinese at Kensington, that is for kids at Kensington first. And then whatever doesn't fill, it's opened up for the entire county.
For the cluster.
Just for the cluster.
And if it doesn't fill the cluster, we go to the entire county. And the reason we had, when we first started, people were a little bit leery about what is this new thing. And if a school was interested in taking the leap of faith with us first, we tried to keep it localized, knowing that a lot of parents aren't going to drive from Union Elementary, say, to Kensington. So we tried to make it geographical at first. Excuse me.
Are there plans to incorporate any other different languages into the system and into all the schools eventually?
The goal is by the time a child gets to middle school, and we have rising 2nd graders that are in this program now, by the time they get to middle school, they can take Spanish or Mandarin 1, 7th grade 2, and 8th grade 3, and they're considered fluent in that language, and then them have the opportunity for a 3rd language to be trilingual by the time they go to high school. Right now, VIF only does the Mandarin and the Spanish, or have they added another one, Dr. Clark?
It was Spanish only until Union County said we wanted to have
We
a
were the
Mandarin.
first in the state, I believe, to take the leap in Mandarin.
It's only Spanish.
So we're doing what we can.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on to item number 12. That'll be the Community Construction Equity Plan, CCEP update by Dr. Ellis and Dr. Webb.
Very simple. Based on the board's the presentation last month, we have met with principals. We had an all-day principals meeting. We're going to talk about a little more later on tonight. And we did the same presentation for the principals. The principals now have a timeline. They will have selected their committee, and they will have met with the committee by the end of September. The goal is to have their work done by the end of the first semester, or the end of January, almost the end of the first semester, so then that staff can double check and make sure that it's not in the comprehensive facility study or the comprehensive facilities plan. Now, based on conversation we heard from the board last time, we've asked principals to make sure they have 6 parents who are not attached to the school, meaning they're not employed by the school system. They need to be parents who are active parents in the district. Somebody mentioned needing an elected official on each one. I left that up to the principals because sometimes folks have agendas, and I'm not saying anybody ever would, but might have an agenda, and I don't want an elected official's agenda to drive what a group, and I'm not talking about board members now, I'm talking about town officials. They're certainly welcome to be on it if they're on it as parents, but not just on it as the elected official. They've got to have a buy-in to the school, with the school community. Dr. Webb, what did I leave out? And then you could determine, that would be, once the school looked at it, then they would take it to the cluster. So in Porter Ridge, for example, where there are 6 schools, 6 times 5 is 30 parents. They would have input in meetings in different places, so it would be very much not just school personnel driven. It would be make sure that parents have a say in it. Also, along the same lines, going to be looking, staff is going to be looking at things like mechanical, wiring, that kind of things that need to be done. And also looking at numbers of, it's not a secret to anybody, we're going to have to build at least 1, if not 2 new schools in the pretty quick near future, given the growth that Union County has started to experience. And so all those things will be sort of headed at the same time.
Good evening. Dr. Ellis has already tasked Dr. Jones to begin to work with the curriculum committee, as well as Dr. Clark and myself with the strategic planning and technology committee, to begin to pull research together, work with a cross-functional group to determine what size schools best fits Union County, not only at the elementary, middle, and high level, so that we can plan for construction, whether that's a new replacement or additions.
Now, the research, Theodore Sizer, school size, he's one of the recognized researchers. He says the optimum elementary school is 400, middle 600, and high school 800. Folks, while that may be optimal, that is not where we are in Union County. That is a pipe dream, and we need to look at the schools where they are now, where we need them to be. And when you're thinking about school size, it's not just the schools where children are, you have a lot of high-functioning schools. It'll be every school. So we won't, and with the bypass coming in, going down sort of parallel with 218 going down to Marshville, it's just a matter of time before the building picks up there. And the strategic planning and curriculum is going to have to determine and give it to policy, or the policy committee, about what the optimum size is, because until next May, the community and the schools and the board are going to have some really big decisions to make. And with Will on the CCEP, our hopes is the working group between the Board of County Commissioners and the Board of Education can hopefully look at possibly some funding for some of this.
All right. There's no questions or discussion. I'm going to move us to item 13, Superintendent's Report.
First of all, I want to say that yesterday was the first day of year-round schooling. It was a wonderful, wonderful day. Children were happy to be back, and they were firmly in the trenches and doing and learning. And it was just the best day I've had in a long, long time watching all that learning. I came out of Walter Bickett, and just to show you how intense the staff was, the woman didn't even look up. She said, "You're from the cafeteria, right? Here are the numbers." And I said, "Well."
I can take those down there?
I said, "I'll hot put them down there for you." And I said, "Man, I can cook." And she looked up and she said, "Oh, Lord." But that just shows you how on task everyone was, and that was a breath of fresh air. Today was the first day of school for our early college students. And I'm happy to report that we have one parent upset about buses in the 2 days that I know of, and we believe we've taken care of that. And it's just good. This is my favorite time of year when children go back to school, because everybody, every mom and every daddy, has hopes and dreams for their children and what we want them to be and do and accomplish, and life is just good at the start of school. I'll just say that. I also want to let the board know that I have been appointed to the Public School Forum of North Carolina. That's an education policy think tank. I've attended my first meeting there. There are 2 superintendents, I believe, in the state of North Carolina. It's quite an honor to represent you and the children of the Union County Public Schools. The superintendents of the 10 largest districts had a 2-day meeting last week. We did speak with the governor, with Mr. Art Pope, the budget director, with Mr. Joe Nolan, who works in Mr. Tillis's office, Craig Horn, and Jack Hope, who's the president of ASA. We seem to be at a crossroads with our budget because the legislators tell us there is no cut, and DPI is telling us that we're going to have to cut 20 teaching positions with this no-cut budget. And quite frankly, who do you listen to? And we are trying to sort out, even as late as this afternoon, I met with Mr. Horn for an hour and a half going through budget. And he is going to Raleigh tomorrow to try to get the Office of Fiscal Research and the Department of Public Instruction to talk so they can give us the same story. Because depending on where you hear it, it's a 7% increase or it's a 5.5% increase, and I'm not going there. Teachers are making more than they were, but it's a slap in the face to teachers who have taught a lot of years. But I'm happy for every penny. We're just trying to figure out if we're going to have to, we're not going to have to cut teachers because we have teacher vacancies. If we're going to have to send those back to Raleigh, I will tell you that the teacher assistant item line is non-reoccurring money. So we have had a freeze on teacher assistants, and we will continue the freeze all year for attrition. It has been made abundantly clear that the General Assembly is not interested in adding, and I don't even know about maintaining teacher assistants, and I find that quite confusing in the light of Read to Achieve legislation, where children in 3rd grade have to have all the extra. So we've informed principals today that if you lost a teacher assistant, it would not be replaced. We may have to shuffle from school to school to make the numbers work out at some point in time in the year. But the budget, until we hear from, until the legislators, the Office of Fiscal Research, and the Department of Public Instruction sing on the same page, we have no idea, but we're prepared for any eventuality. Also, I talked with Mr. Horn today to see if there was any possibility of getting the 5 days back for our non-certified folks. Everybody else in the state got a $1,000 pay raise, and our custodians and maintenance and clerical and other folks got $500, and the days aren't costing, the days are less of a cost than the $500. And I asked Mr. Horn, I said, it's just a matter of respect for our non-certified people to work like they work, and then to say, oh, you get $500, but everybody else is going to get double that plus. So could we bring the days back for our folks? That would not be a new appropriation, and he said he would work on that. We are readying for the start of school on August the 25th for the remainder of our schools. A lot of exciting things going on. We did have, I'll come back to that. Dr. Webb and I have been invited next Thursday and Friday. We're supposed to be going to Emory-Riddle University in Daytona Beach. Union County is going to start an avionics academy. Now, we have over 20 academies. My size fits me in Union County Public Schools, and with Airport Road and the jobs that are there, plus at the Concord Regional Airport, the Monroe Regional Airport, I think we would be remiss if we didn't train some of our students in the area of avionics. We are developing an articulation agreement with South Piedmont Community College where our students could get some of this while they're in high school through the College and Career Promise, and they could finish up possibly just a class or two maybe after they graduate, and so pretty substantial beginning pay. In addition, Dr. Stan Cedor, the community college president, and Dr. Ellen McIntyre, the dean of the College of Education at UNC Charlotte, and I are meeting later this month to form an articulation agreement for our children. A lot of our children can go to a 4-year school. Some of our children do not have the financial means to go to a 4-year school. So why can they not, if they're wanting to teach school, why can they not take college and career promise classes in Union County Public Schools, and then go to South Piedmont and finish up their 2-year degree there, and then go to the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. And what we're trying to sew up is an articulation agreement written down. If I take this, 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 and this, then it will transfer 1-to-1 to the university. And we could have some students graduating with a teaching certificate possibly in 2 years, if the students are a mind to. The goal here is for every child who can to have the opportunity that early college students have, because they can take early college classes on the campus of early college, but through College and Career Promise, our students, if they're a mind, can have up to 2 years of college when they graduate from high school. This was the first year that we pushed down English 1. We've had some of the maths, foreign language, different things in 8th grade. And our students, some of our students who are going to high school have almost a year's worth of work right now, and they're going in as 10th graders. My size fits me. So many times we do things for at-risk kids that we maybe forget sometimes about some of our high flyers. So in these articulation agreements, we're trying to work for these children in the varying levels of ability. And finally, today, we talked about vision and leadership. And that's been a topic of late in the past year in the Union County Public Schools and with some of our stakeholders. And Union County, nor any county, can wake up one day and be where Union County is without a vision and without leadership. I don't care what anybody says. And it's got to be grown, and it's got to be expansive over time. Today we spent a great chunk of time with our school leaders talking about, what do you believe? What is your vision for Union County Public Schools? And I'm not talking about preparing all students to succeed, although that is the Union County's mantra. What is your individual mantra, and what does it look like at your school? And Arthur has spent a lot of time, and thank you very much, you did an exemplary job. Spent some time. I told all of our principals to wear black. That's why you see us all in black today. Although some, bugged out and went and put on some other different color clothes. But we made pictures of every leader in Union County Public Schools and what their personal vision was for their place. And I just want to give you a 60-second snippet of what today looked like from the eyes of our leaders. And this is very rough because we just finished it about 4:30. When I say we, I mean Arthur. Now,
there's lots more where that came from. We are going to take this, and I'm just going to surprise you with some things we're going to do with it. But only when we know where our true North Star is, and that is born in times of trouble, in times of travail, and in times of goodness and happiness. But only when we know who we are can we begin to affect the change we want to see. And that is where we are this year. And if you didn't recognize the hand at the first, my size fits me, and that's every child in the Union County Public Schools. Stay tuned, and Mr. Chair, this concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. All right. Moving on to item 14, closed session decisions. We had some personnel decisions. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, I move to affirm the closed session decisions.
Second.
So, Mr. Benson, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Covers everything. Comments, board comments.
I'd like to congratulate Dr. Ellis for her recent award.
It's all about team. Thank you very much, but it's all about team.
Well, and that came to my second point, because you have such an amazing staff. It enables you to do everything that you do, and you are greatly appreciated. I do hope you know that. And your staff is also appreciated in everything that they do. So thank Central Office very much.
Yeah. I'm going to wait.
No, it's all you,
Someone
man.
else is going to jump in. The other news that came out this month that I think is worth noting is that the UCPS leads the state in language immersion. We talked a little bit earlier about how that's expanding, and the fact that Union County Public Schools leads the way in SPLASH immersion programs. I think is another testament to hard work and the vision that this whole board, this administration, and teachers, everyone has had to move the system forward, and it's being recognized across the state. Kudos to all. Additionally, the other news story came out was that UCPS leads North Carolina in return on educational investment. Again, making sure every penny counts, and we're leveraging every dollar. Not only at the top in the state, but I looked across the country, and according to my data, of large schools, in the top 10. So, again, I think kudos to all who really do a fine job to do what they do and making UCPS number one in educational investment. Taxpayers should be proud.
Mr. Guzman, do I have any other comments?
Mr. Chair, anybody that's out moving about the clusters has recognized that there's a lot of work going on. We're making tremendous progress in safety and security efforts. Our ADA needs, the fact that we have ADA students that now can access restrooms where before they had to be assisted or whatever, that's monumental. And roofs are being buttoned up. And I want to commend this board and I want to commend the staff. The past 2 years have been a hard fight. We're making real progress. And I'd also like to commend the commissioners for starting to beat us on the field to make progress in our schools. I think we're headed in the right direction. It's been a tough 2 years, but I think it's been well worth it. And like I say, the feedback from some of the improvements we're making is folks appreciate it. So I commend you all for having the resolve to make this happen.
Go ahead, Dr. Ellis.
Yesterday, I went to Walter Bickett Ed. Those children don't come back until Thursday and Friday. But I went in those bathrooms, Mr. Stewart, and I'll just tell you, I cried. We've had to carry children in those bathrooms, and that leaves no dignity. And with the money that the county commissioners appropriated We were able to build new bathrooms that you can wheel a wheelchair in, and children can attend to their needs. And I would invite any of you to go to Walter Bickett Education Center and look at those bathrooms. And one of the teacher assistants, I know her, she came by and she said, "What are you doing in the bathroom?" Because the door was open. And I said, "I'm looking at a dream realized for a lot of people." And it was, I've never seen a bathroom that I liked as much in my life.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dr. Ellis. There's some things happening that are going to have a long positive effect on this school system. Like I say, I thank all of them for helping make that happen.
Anybody that wants to check on the progress or updates for our capital projects just needs to go on the website to the department section, hit the drop down, go to facilities, and in there you will see project updates. I printed off one today because I have some emails to return tonight. Some folks were asking questions about Western Union, and I'll be updating them on where to find this information. But every week, is it on Thursday? Every Thursday it is updated as to what we're doing as far as roofing, ADA, the HIDs or the badge doors to get in, security and strategic fencing. So if you have a desire to go there and check out what's going on with your school, you'll see that. Anything that's in dark gray means that it is completed. And we are efficiently spending the taxpayer dollars, and we are getting a lot of work done right now. Any other comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just want to say that I really appreciate seeing those governor schools recognition. My daughter did that, and I know how hard it was for them. So if any of the parents are still here listening online, I just want to go and commend that, because that's a great achievement. My daughter still stays in contact. So if you see those young people again, give them an extra a hug, high five, because that's quite a lifelong achievement there. And the second thing is, Miss Shamia Crawford is still in the running, Rising Star. She's still in the running. And I bring that out because as high as she go, we go, because at some point they're going to want to know her history. And Union County Public Schools is part of her history. So download that app and Rising Star and vote on Sunday for Shamia Crawford.
Thank you, Reverend Benson. Do I have any other comments? All right, if nothing else, I'm going to move us on then to item 16, announcements. Do we have some meetings?
Facilities will convene August 26th at 08:30, the board room, central administration.
All right.
Thursday, August 21st is policy. I know we had originally said 9, but Mr. Collins will be able to join us, and I'm putting him on the hook at 9:30. If it's okay with policy committee members that we do 9:30 and staff.
Like we need the law enforcement officers not checking the front row.
Mr. Collins, I'll be calling you about 6:30 to make sure you're up.
I'll be up.
All right, any other comments, announcements?
Then will we have a curriculum meeting following that? Okay.
All right, so curriculum is going to be a TBA. All right, moving on from announcements to number 17, plus delta, my favorite. Do we have any pluses or any deltas? All right, moving on to number 18, Mr. Collins.
Thank you. To adjourn.
And Ms. Savage is seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
It's amazing, it's unanimous. We are adjourned.